Welcome in, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. We have much to talk about today. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, and joined here, as always, by Brett Hamilton.
Hello!
And I don't know about you, Brett, but this has potential to be our best episode ever. Sorry, Peyton, for not being here. Peyton's not here. But aside from that, we have not one, but two guests on the show today. We have Steele once again. Welcome back, Steele.
Hey.
And newcomer to the show, Kevin Johnson, has joined us.
Skr.
All right, so how are you guys doing this fine evening?
Not too bad. Ready to talk some football?
Heck yeah. Kevin, you heard from Steele last week. Both Kevin and Steele have been a part of the our KPT BALLAS League of Record since the beginning, which has spanned around a decade now. And most years, I mean, not trying to be cocky or anything, but most years...
you win?
Well, no.
That was what he was about to say.
No. Most years, Kevin, Steele, and myself have been in the playoffs competing for a fantasy championship. I think we've all won at least once in the past. Me more recently than others.
Oh, get out of here. Golly.
Meanwhile, Brett's championship trophy shelf is quite barren.
It's very dusty right now.
It is barren.
This is why your mother doesn't love you, Brandon.
But actually, I looked back at our League of Record history, and there has actually never been a championship game that hasn't featured at least myself, Steele, or Kevin. So
Brett, you can leave.
I guess so. I guess I'm awful.
So we're just adding wins to the podcast today. So today, again, it's our bonus episode. We're going to mainly talk about our KPT BALLAS League, but we'll have some other things to get through. So, yeah, great to have you guys on the show. We're going to have loads of fun. So let's kick off the fun with a huge, mega, ultra, once-in-a-lifetime, three-way game of trivia.
Trivia!
All right. You guys ready? We're going to have 5 rounds. Just whoever wins the most wins. I think Brett's the reigning champion right now. Peyton won the first one. Brett won the second one.
Yeah.
So maybe the guests will dethrone these guys.
But maybe not.
All right. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
All right. I came into the NFL in 2015 from the University of Maryland as the 20th wide receiver selected. You get one guess per hint. Came in 2015. No, I'll give you more hints, but you get one guess this round. Or you can say pass. I don't care.
Jerry Rice.
Oh, my gosh. You're going to be like Peyton from last week.
Oh, I can't remember when Jarvis Landry came into the league. Is it Jarvis?
Nope. Still? Any guess? Da-na-na-na-na-na.
20th wide receiver?
20th wide receiver selected.
So that's probably a deep round.
In 2015. No. I have started each season of my career as a top 10 wide receiver through the first 3 weeks of the season.
Stefan Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is right.
Oh, man. Oh,
Got
good.
it.
That was good.
Yeah, he started each season, his first 3 seasons, as a top 3 wide receiver. Obviously, the first 2 seasons, he finished weeks 4 through 17 as number 47 and number 53. So a little drop-off there if there's any scare from Stephon Diggs.
What he's saying is sell high.
Sell high right now.
Read between the lines.
Oh no, he's a super talented receiver, so he might keep it up for.
This is a better Vikings team.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so Kevin's in the lead with 1. Here we go. Since getting the starting role in 2014, I have averaged 13.25 fantasy points per game, which ranks inside the top 10 since 2014 at running backs.
C.J. Anderson.
That was really quick.
Wow.
That was really quick. Kevin's on fire.
I think he's cheating.
Hot damn.
Put your hands on the table.
Collusion.
Yeah.
I think he had access to the script.
Yeah,
He made the script.
Still would have got the last hint. My backup finished as the number 1 overall player in fantasy in 2013.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
I remember that 60-point game.
Jamal Charles, if anyone's wondering. All right, so Kevin's dominating lead. So if Kevin gets one more, it's over. I am currently tied for the all-time record of most receptions through my first 3 seasons.
Odell Beckham.
No.
That was good.
He is the other player. He is the player this guy's tied with.
Ah.
So I was right.
You were sort of right. You get half a point.
Third year.
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry is correct. You guys. Oh my god.
And they played together.
Yeah, my last clue was my former LSU teammate is the player I'm tied with. Goodness gracious. All right, well, Kevin obviously already won, but we'll keep going.
Yeah, let me get those other two.
We got 2 more. Let's see if Kevin can get the clean sweep. This is dominating.
That was my answer to the first question. I was just a little premature.
Premature.
Story of your life, am I right?
All right. Moving on to the next question. Last season, I finished tied for second with 8 red zone touchdowns.
Tyler Eifert.
Wrong. But close.
I think he was first.
8 red zone touchdowns?
8 red zone touchdowns.
Last year, tied second.
Yep.
Gronk?
Nope.
He didn't play enough.
He said close with the tight end, so I'm thinking it's tight end.
It is a tight end. It's
a
definitely
tight
tight
end.
end.
Any
I
guess,
think
Steele?
Eifert was first.
Yeah.
Spit out a name. Grant, we're going to the next clue. All right. My teammate finished the year with 12 touchdowns total, but my catch percentage was 15 points higher than his. Teammate had 12 touchdowns, but I had 8 red zone touchdowns.
Richard Rodgers.
Wrong. I wish he had 8 red zone touchdowns.
He only catches Hail Marys.
Still, you going to guess anytime soon? He's deep in thought right now.
It's tough.
Spit something out.
Brain teaser.
Travis Kelce.
No.
I'm going to say Jared Cook.
No. I finished last year as the number 6 tight end in standard scoring leagues.
Jason Witten.
No.
Delaney Walker.
No.
Kyle Rudolph.
Man, we have gone through every tight end.
Antonio Gates.
All right, time for Brett to be
Hunter
mad.
Henry.
I work near a
Cameron
pirate
Brate.
ship and strive to make myself great again.
Cameron Brate. Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron Brate. Last year, number 6 tight end in fantasy, 8 red zone touchdowns. I expect that to go down this year, but
Yeah.
I do think there's still a good relevance for Cameron Brate this year.
Deshaun Jackson's getting a lot of red zone looks.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson? Is he?
Yeah. Oh,
Red
yeah.
zone looks?
Yeah, he missed. I mean, in that second
Maybe
game.
that's why they lost.
Their first game, week 2, he missed, I think, 2 in the red zone. It was just barely overthrown. But if they get on the same track, he's going to score.
Kind of odd to see him getting work in the red zone. But anyway, all right, next question. I came into the league in 2004, so old man, but have only produced 3 top 10 fantasy years at my position.
Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't know how you're doing this. I don't understand how you're doing this. Can you see or something? I don't understand.
Ben Roethlisberger is always the guy that gets super hyped in the year because he has these like streaky weeks, but he never finishes like anywhere close to a relevant quarterback.
Yeah, and his home road splits are crazy.
If he always
he's
played
a
at home,
different human.
If he always played at home, he would be so good.
Like best player in fantasy history.
All right, so that's trivia for today. Kevin wins in dominating fashion. That wasn't even.
Hey, I got
close.
one.
You got one. Still was taking a nap over here.
Whatever, dude.
All right, so
All
we're
trials is a goat.
going to jump right into the news. Just running down a few injury notes. Kelvin Benjamin practiced in full today, so he looks good to go. Andrew Luck. Originally thought that he was going to be back at practice this week and maybe back in week 6, but it looks like he's going to be out until November. So all those fantasy owners that are holding on to Colts players right now, you're going to have to wait a little longer, or holding on to Luck for that matter.
Little longer.
Yeah, Rob Kelly, Jordan Reed practiced today, so signs looking good for them. Julio Jones still limited in practice. He's dealing with a back injury. Back injuries can kind of be, I don't know, dicey, but I expect Julio to play anyway.
Yeah.
J.I. and Melvin Gordon will play week 4. Will Fuller also will play week 4, coming back on the Texans. He's been dealing with a broken collarbone. Sam Bradford officially ruled out for this week, and Mike Williams, actually, the Chargers rookie receiver, not ruled out for Week 4. So, just some things to keep an eye on. All right, going to move into our KPT BALLAS Week 2 recap. Like I said, both Steele and Kevin, they're in our league of record, the KPT BALLAS League. And, I don't know, it's been a kind of an odd start to the season so far. Kevin just getting his first win this week.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he agreed to come on the show.
Yes.
We had a clause in my contract where it said that if I didn't win a game, I could not appear on the podcast.
All right, so yeah, he got his win, so he's here today. I have currently moved into the top spot as the only undefeated team still. So
Kareem Hunt lottery winner.
hopefully that
Thank
continues.
you, Kareem Hunt.
3 teams are at 2-1 right now: Matt, Bush, and Heather. Everyone else, like I said, Brett, Peyton, Kevin, Steele, Joseph, and Charles, all at 1 and 2. So we're all within 2 games of each other. So anything could happen the next couple weeks. The closest game of the week was between Joseph and Heather.
That was close.
Heather being in back-to-back close games, she came out on top in this one though.
Yep.
She gets the win by less than 3 points. Joseph could have come out on top if
With
he
infinite points on the bench.
Yeah, if only he had started Russell Wilson instead of Derek Carr. Derek Carr had 5 points, Russell Wilson 33. So pretty good spread
Joseph's
there.
a big believer in Derek Carr, though.
Yeah,
and
Joseph,
I respect that.
Joseph likes his Raiders.
Derek, he had a bad game, though.
Or does he?
Or does he? Well, not anymore.
No.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that
on that later.
Yeah. So that we'll lead right into the awards for that. Joseph won the Star Bench Award last week with Chris Thompson. He's going to win it again this week with Russell Wilson, like I said, getting 33 points. Biggest beatdown of the week goes to Brett Hamilton for losing to me by 50 points.
Okay.
50-point win.
Brandon was the high scorer this week. No one in our league would have beat him. So it wasn't. I mean, I underperformed, yes, but
You didn't play good defense, man.
You gotta play defense.
I
in
played
fantasy.
much worse defense. Don't worry.
It's all about the defense. Who cares what you score?
Yeah.
All right, and like we hinted at before, we have a trade alert in the league. We've been kind of I don't know, tame in the past couple weeks when it comes to trades. But yeah, we got a trade. So Kevin, right
Me?
here, you want to explain what went down?
So this morning I was at work just looking through fantasy as I do, and I saw this guy Sammy Watkins on my roster. The second.
Tinker stinker time.
Yeah, it's some tinker stinker time. Saw this guy named Sammy Watkins on my roster, and I remembered his lightning performance this past week. And so I don't really believe in the Rams offense. I think that they're just winning against a pretty poor 49ers defense. So I thought I might shop him around. So I sent out a couple feeler texts, and one of my fish came back. And,
It was a marlin. It was not. The marlin and the trout.
And so the trade ended up being my Sammy Watkins for Joseph's Amari Cooper, which I think is a pretty strong trade in my favor, as I see Amari Cooper as about the same talent, but on a much better team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You have the best, or it's definitely safer to have Amari Cooper. But I do see potential for Sammy Watkins if he stays healthy.
I do too.
Oh, I mean,
16
he's
games.
a world class athlete. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when I first looked at this trade, when I first opened it up, I was like, oh my gosh, Joseph just got trade raped again. And
No, I didn't.
but
think
no,
so.
well, that was my first reaction. But
Yeah.
after looking at it, I was like,
I think it's pretty even.
Yeah, it's not bad. Sammy Watkins has definitely good upside.
Yeah.
Moving on into our waiver wire ads of the week. Not many high quality ads, but we got Joseph going out and getting Geronimo Allison and Mercedes Lewis. Even after we said, if you would have listened to the podcast, said do not pick up Mercedes Lewis. It's a trap, and he dropped Jason Witten for him. So I mean, bad move there.
I think he was just so upset over Jason Witten scoring 0.3 points and losing him the week.
Don't get emotional.
Yeah, I think that was an emotional drop.
Yeah. Matt grabs Sterling Shepard, obviously a big week last week. Kevin grabs Tyrod Taylor, drops Cam Newton, his boy.
he's failed me too many times. It was more of it. I mean, I have Breeze, so I don't need a backup quarterback, but it was more of a principal move.
Yeah. And then we got Bush going and grabbing Jimmy Graham, who was surprisingly out there, and Wendell Smallwood, who is probably going to be in that Darren Sproles role moving forward. And then I went and snagged Andre Ellington and Josh Doxson. Not really exciting, just maybe something happens down the line.
I think Josh Doxson's a good pickup.
And I was listening to the podcast from yesterday, and I saw this move on Wednesday. What has your fumes going for Andre Ellington?
Haven't you learned?
Haven't I learned?
No, do you know nothing?
Well, I just think, again, without David Johnson, that backfield's just all over the place. And they're going to have a committee either way, but I think Chris Johnson, as much as he did a few years back, I think Andre Ellington, he was more productive in this pass game especially, and in the passing game in particular. So it's more of a, I don't know, like a flyer or maybe like a sneaky play. Eventually, I definitely, in PPR, I'd love Andre Ellington over any of the guys in that backfield.
Yeah.
But maybe something happens, one of those guys goes down. None of them are particularly healthy at any time. So, I don't know. I just like the Andre Ellington idea. And obviously, Chris Johnson. Do you have Chris Johnson?
No.
I think Peyton has Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
And obviously, he wasn't out there. So,
I think
Yeah,
Andre
you can
Ellington
throw a flyer
has
in there,
the most talent, and I wish they would give him the ball more. But it's going to be a committee no matter which way you slice
Yeah,
it.
that's the reason why I personally wouldn't roster any of them. I see them the same way as I see like the Giants or any of the other like Eagles like super committees where one guy might go off one week, but when are you ever going to start any of them confidently?
yeah.
Right.
I don't know. It's just something. Maybe something happens, and he's on my roster if it does. But all right, so we're going to move into our Week 3 matchups, or Week 4 matchups, either the ones coming up this week. I will be playing Charles. Peyton will be playing Brett. So, inter-podcast matchup there.
I'm going to crush him.
Peyton's not here to defend himself. Take it easy. Heather going up against Kevin.
I'm going to crush her.
We got Matt going against Steele. And then we got Bush going up against Joseph. So, I don't know, a lot of good matchups, I guess. We'll see how the week plays out. So, before we close it out, we're just going to talk for a little bit. I don't know if you guys have anything in particular you want to talk about. I was just going to throw something out there. Are there any players in particular you're buying low or selling high right now?
I'm buying low on Amari Cooper.
Obviously.
This doesn't really pertain to our league, but the window may have already passed, but buy Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, definitely agree.
Yeah.
Because it's time.
Yeah.
Speaking, obviously, if anyone's been listening in our ESPN league, I traded Buck Allen for Joe Mixon, and
Which is, at this point, highway robbery, I believe.
That was
a. I don't even know if you could classify that as a trade.
I didn't even send that. The guy sent it to me, and I was like, "Thank you very much." But just
Fair enough.
Just to point out, we have a whole another league aside from that one, our work league, where one of our members decided to drop Joe Mixon this last week, and everyone obviously went and tried to get him. I didn't end up with him. Still didn't end up with him. It was no.
I have a low waiver priority.
Just shows that there's some stupid people out there.
There's always a taco.
Definitely buying low on Joe Mixon. The guy I'm selling high on, Todd Gurley.
Agree.
I don't think he can get much better than what he's been doing.
He's probably already had his best game of the season.
Yeah. And granted, it's looked great. He's looked better. The offense is better. They have something going now. They have a coach now, not Jeff freaking Fisher. But
Freaking Fisher.
but I think Todd Gurley and just the Rams in general, they have really tough matchups. If you listen to the last show, we went through those matchups, like Seattle twice, I believe. They got
Cardinals twice.
Yeah, Cardinals twice. They got
It's tough.
the Giants. They got Denver, maybe. I might be reading that wrong, but
And even a top five running back, every year. They're going to struggle against those defenses like that. I mean, there's just not a lot of fantasy points to be had.
Yeah, I do like the fact that Gurley's catching more passes.
Yeah, that's good. And he's always going to be involved in the passing game.
So far this season, at least, he kind of has the Melvin Gordon effect where he's not very efficient as a runner, but he still gets it done somehow.
That's
like
the touches, the production.
I mean, that's even how 2-3 weeks that's how Le'Veon's been going.
Surprisingly.
he doesn't look like the workhorse that he used to be.
He's played the most snaps of any running back in the last 2 weeks combined. 94% snaps. That's higher than anyone in the leagues. In week 2 and 3, but he's just getting by on volume alone. He hasn't had a Le'Veon game.
So, let me ask this. How high would you sell him?
That's what I was
What
gonna
would
ask.
you take for him?
See, I honestly, I'd sell...
Is Todd Gurley a top 10 running back rest of the season?
Well, if anyone listened to our running back redraft segment from last episode, we didn't even draft Gurley in the top 10 for rest of the season. So I would say no to that. But I do believe you can trade Gurley right now and get, you could package him with something, or not. Heck, you probably don't even need to package him. You could trade Gurley for maybe even a Jai right now, or
to the right person, you could trade Gurley for to the right owner, you could trade Gurley for Zeke,
or Le'Veon.
Yeah, people are so down on those guys because they've started slow.
Because they haven't had a 20-point game.
Like Gurley and a decent wide receiver like Adam Thielen maybe for one of those guys. I think someone would take that or bite in a heartbeat.
That's true.
I just read something crazy about the Rams. You want to know something?
Yes, tell me.
Yes. The only quarterbacks with a higher quarterback rating than Jared Goff this season are
Brady
and it's Brady and one more.
What division?
Is it unexpected or is it one
unexpected?
Oh god,
Carson Wentz.
No.
No. Simeon.
Case Keenum?
No. Yes.
What the heck is it?
Alex Smith.
Oh my god!
Well, when you dink and
dunk,
dunk,
to the back of everyone's mind when you say quarterbacks. He's just a boring guy. Good stat there.
Wow.
Are there any sleepers or like sneaky breakouts you guys are kind of looking at? I know I mentioned Josh Doctson earlier, but I don't know. Are there any other like sneaky guys that could break out this year that no one's really targeted on waivers yet?
I don't think people are. It's taking a lot of people to get behind the Chris Carson trade, but he's their starter.
He is.
Yeah,
he's going to be their starter.
He's their starter, and in the limited the game flow at the Seahawks games has not been kind to the Chris Carson running back.
No.
But I think that on tape he is a very talented runner, and they love him there. They've been talking about him all season. They trust him fully. I think
he's the report. The guys in the locker room wanted him to be the starter to begin the season.
Yeah,
they had to respect Lacey
and the guys who have already been there. Yeah, I think he is the guy. And if you haven't sought him out, I think that is something that you should think about.
Yeah, and I think I know we talked about handcuffs last week, but I feel like there's some handcuffs that are kind of rising up the boards even more and more lately. Obviously, Jamal and Deonta Foreman's looking like he's taking a lot of touches.
He honestly, on the eye test, looks better than Lamar Miller.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, not as sad as it is. Yeah.
Brandon tried to trade me for Lamar.
Yeah, you always, if you can get the value, then you try and trade for anyone you might want.
Yeah, that's true.
No one's saying Lamar Miller's bad.
No, Lamar Miller is a good running back. He is just.
I think he'll be effective if he gets less touches. I mean, they're just not going to wear him out, and whenever he does go in, he's going to be effective.
And the fact that Deshaun Watson's going to take carries away from both running backs too.
Because he's just going to run it.
He can definitely do that. I was looking at I mean, being a Packer fan and everything. I still have every bit of faith in Ty Montgomery, but every single game this year so far, he's gone to the sideline, hobbled at least once. He's always come back in, granted, but there is a chance that if something happened, obviously he's dealt with ankle injuries in the past, and he's had a broken ankle before. If that were to happen, Jamal Williams is definitely a good stash to have.
They wouldn't be going committee.
He's definitely not as.
No, he wouldn't get the work that
Ty Montgomery's like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
that's why he's the first Packers running back I've ever been excited about because he fits into their offense.
Yeah.
Amon Green.
It's been decades.
In our lifetime.
But
You should pick up Bubba Franks on your tight end waivers.
shout out.
Oh, yeah, I wish.
But yeah, Jamal Williams. I definitely think if Ty were to go down, it'd be Jamal Williams would be the first and second down back, and then maybe Devonta Mays or Aaron Jones or one of those other lower end guys would get third down work. I don't really see them having that much relevance.
I'd just pick up Rip.
Ripkowski.
Or, Brandon Oliver for the Chargers.
That's
He-
that's
he-
good.
Every time he has seen the field in one of those injury situations, he's been explosive and looked like a beefy Darren Sproles kind of player.
A few years ago, he came in. I think it was when
It was when Woodhead went down, I believe.
It was Woodhead and whoever the other running back was at the time. They went down, and he was he tore it up for a few weeks. Then he himself got hurt later in the season. But yeah, because I think he was on IR all last season. Or didn't see it. I can't remember. But
I haven't heard his name in a while.
He looked really good. And,
Yeah, but I mean, Melvin's still the.
He's the guy.
He's going to get 20+ touches a game.
Yeah,
if
no,
he's
but
healthy.
we're talking about
True handcuffs. Yeah,
injury.
Yeah, and obviously Derrick Henry. He's obviously
he's not a hand. He is an RB 1B.
1B. Yeah, but were you gonna say something still?
Well, just when you think he's going to take the job, DeMarco breaks off a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I
Crushes
know.
everyone's
We won't even be talking.
That was so frustrating.
Everyone would be so high on Derrick Henry right now, and that's all we'd be talking about if DeMarco hadn't had that
wasn't
one
that
touchdown
one
run.
play.
Because it was really.
70 yards, touchdown. Really padded the stats for him.
But the touches were almost identical in that game.
Yeah,
too.
which is kind of scary.
This is another instance of, in my opinion, sell DeMarco Murray for that play and for his name. Because he still has that stock, like you guys were talking about yesterday with Terrell Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
People still look at that name and be like, "Oh, this guy was the hype train before the season. I should get him."
Yeah.
But when you look at the game he has not been the guy he was last year or the year before. Like
No.
Derrick Henry is real. He is there. He is getting touches, getting the carries.
He's a monster.
He is a beast. All right. Anything else to add, guys, before we close out?
I would like to warn all listeners not to start Charles Clay this week because I'm starting him. So he is bound to get sub 3 points. So the stories behind this is week 1. I'm on the Hunter Henry hype train, of course. He's talented. Antonio Gates is on his way out, I hope. Gets me a 0 burger. Charles Clay looks pretty good that week, so gets a touchdown like 60 yards, pick him up. Week 2, Charles Clay gets 2.3 points. Week 3, after Hunter Henry has a 9-point game, I'm like, oh, so it's just first game jitters. Pick up Hunter Henry, 0 points.
0 targets.
0 targets.
Targets.
And then we have Charles Clay again finding the end zone when I'm there. So I'm inevitably going to miss this week. So I recommend Hunter Henry this week for your lineups.
Just whatever Kevin's doing, do the opposite of tight ends. But tight ends are awful.
Yeah.
Awful this year. Aside from
Not if
two.
you have-
Okay,
Yeah,
aside from
well,
two.
Josh has a cheat code,
There's two.
so
There's two.
There's like- there's
Gronk
two
is
that have only
he's
done
in
it.
his own tier, and then Zach Ertz has played really well this year.
And Travis Kelce.
Zach Ertz, the 9-point wonder.
Honestly,
Kelsey besides this last week.
tight ends are like catchers in baseball at this
Yeah.
point. They will have good games where they'll go off and they'll hit 3 home runs, score 3 touchdowns or something like that, and then other games where they won't get a target. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought of a game you want to play real quick. It's safe for work, I swear.
Safe for
Let's
work.
do it.
What does the game go?
I'm going to name receivers, and you tell me boom or bust this week.
All right.
I'm just going to pick guys who typically are boom or bust.
All right, no explanation. No explanation. Just boom or bust.
We'll just like guys like
Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, Tyreek Hill, Travis Benjamin,
The big play guys.
even Diggs. It seems like he's always on a roller coaster because
All right, go
he
for
exploded
him.
week 1. Okay. I gotta find who they're playing this week.
Yeah, no, I gotta look up. I gotta make sure I know the.
The matchups.
Or are you gonna tell us the matchups?
So
Okay, so Brandon Cooks is playing the Panthers this week. Boom or bust.
Honestly, I have to say. Really, you have to say boom every week. As much as I can't, I can't buy that because I know he's gonna bust some weeks. But really, you have to say boom. I think.
I kind of view Brandon Cooks as a boom bust player, but I also think that he is in a good enough offense that he is.
I mean, he has a much higher floor than he did when he was with the Saints.
Yeah, certainly.
But
Does he
but-
though? It's really not that better of a situation.
But like, okay, so look at last week.
But we're judging this on the first 2 games when
That's true.
it's literally the first 2 games with Tom Brady as his quarterback. So of course there's going to be some like weird stuff. But I think the Panthers' defense is legit. I think that they're like actually a good defense. They're not going to win that game at all, and Tom Brady will probably pick them apart. So I'm probably going to lean towards Boom.
I like Chris Hogan.
Or it could be a Chris Hogan Gronk kind of game.
I love
or
Chris
James
Hogan.
Yeah.
Well, I think Gronk and Chris Hogan playing in the middle of the field will have a harder time with dealing with like Kuechly and Thomas Davis, and rather than the weaker corners for the Panthers.
Yeah. I'll go Boom. You convinced me.
So Brandon Cooks is booming all around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Boom.
Got a boomer.
Go through these quick. We're running out of time here.
Okay, Dad. Devontae Parker.
No problem, son.
Devontae Parker against the Saints.
He will be terrible the whole game, and then on the last play in the game, he will score a garbage touchdown.
I want to say Boom. I really like Devontae Parker.
I love Devontae Parker. I'm very sad that he's not on my team.
Tyreek Hill against Washington Monday night.
Boom. I think he's.
Who do you think Josh Norman's lining up against?
Yeah, I'm saying bust for that reason.
Travis Kelce.
Well, honestly, I don't. Well, I think they moved Tyreek Hill around enough that he won't be matched up as much on Norman.
I don't know if you've been watching the last couple of Chiefs games, but they're also trying to get Albert Wilson going, and they've been moving him into space. And
I understand that, but honestly, I think I'm not saying Tyreek Hill is one of the best wide receivers, or like top tier wide receiver, but I think he's just fast enough, and they move him around enough to where he's almost matchup proof, and one play can make it his game.
That's true.
So boom for you.
So boom, yeah.
I say bust because he really is the like epitome of the one play guy. Yeah. Like he has to have that 60-yard touchdown to have value. Yeah,
one play.
I'm going to say bust for that reason as well.
Okay. Martavis Bryant at the Ravens.
Bust.
In Baltimore.
Then bust.
I'm gonna have to go bust on this one.
I think he was your sit of the week.
He was my sit of the week, so definitely bust.
Deshaun Jackson against the Giants. Home against the Giants.
I'm gonna say boom because Janoris Jenkins is gonna be on Mike Evans.
I agree with
the
that.
whole game.
I think if Deshaun's gonna have a big week, it'll be this week for that reason.
I think if the Bucs are gonna go through verticals, then
they have to, and they have to be more efficient than they were last week, which I think they will be because I don't think the Giants' defense is as good as the Vikings. But
so bust. I mean, boom's all right.
Yeah, boom's for Deshaun.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton in Seattle.
Bust.
Bust.
No explanation.
So if you have T.Y. Hilton, you're benching him.
Yes.
I would bench him. Yeah.
Do not start T.Y. Hilton and sell him as fast as you can, if possible, for his 30-point game.
Yeah.
Okay, only a couple more. How do you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to do against the Titans?
I'd say
and Houston.
You're
still waiting for that DeAndre Hopkins
that big game.
It felt like it's been 2 years ago.
I say boom just mainly because I think he's going to get finally in the end zone this game, and the targets are there. They're definitely there.
And with the way the Texans look, they took the Patriots to the wire at Foxborough. I think this Titans game will be a very, very good watch, and I think it'll be a very competitive game.
All right, one more. Sammy Watkins at Dallas.
Boom.
I lean towards boom as well, which I just traded him away.
But just this week.
I think the Dallas Cowboys defense is not stout, and I think this is also, like you guys were talking about yesterday, I think this is the last week that you can confidently start Gurley.
Yeah. Plus, Dallas doesn't even have much of a pass rush right now, and Jared Goff has shown throughout this season at least that if you give him time to throw, he
can find the guy.
He can find the guy, which is good for Sammy. All right, I'm out of receivers.
All right, we're out of time for today, so that's our show. Just a reminder, go out and check our previous 2 shows from this week. Got a bunch of great content over there. Got some starts and sits, some waiver wire options, and even our, like I mentioned earlier, running back redraft segment. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the423football. Like us on Facebook. Leave your comments and questions. And most importantly, share us. That's our show for today. We are the 423 Football Podcast. Peace out.
Peace out. Bye.